Yes, so this is Thomas together with Michelle, and we're just gonna do some pair programming or set you up with some website one related tasks, perhaps. Michelle, you're fairly new to Agile Ventures. We're very glad to have you with us. And let me share my screen so we can jump over to Pivotal Tracker. Now and yes. Pivotal Tracker. Yeah, I set you up with a. You're a member of this project on Pivotal already.
Yeah, I've looked through the tasks a bit. One thing I noticed offhand, I'm not familiar with this tool. I've always kind of used Jira or just issue tracking and GitHub for anything I've worked on before.
Okay.
The thing that's interesting is at a high level, it's difficult for me to tell at this point how much somebody's done on this so far, and then you can drill into the comments to get a better sense, but I'm wondering if you can maybe point me in a direction to navigate it a little bit better.
Okay, so basically the ones that are marked green, they are already delivered and accepted by the client. So these are just for reference. We can hide them, you know.
Okay.
The yellow ones, the one in the current column, are things that people are working on already, and you know, some people have a better discipline than others about commenting things or setting up tasks that needs to be done. So you know, in many open source projects, you see a difference in you know, the way people are doing stuff. But even though we try to be as you know, professional as we can, so and the communication is a key factor for professionalism, I think. Not everybody is following those guidelines, but never mind. What we try to do is, if you have a look at the backlog in the icebox, the stuff in the icebox are usually not so well, you know, described or explained yet, because they are not prioritized in any way. But the stuff in the backlog should be better, you know, fairly well described. This is for instance, this story, a better support for text scrums. This is something that Sam added just a few days ago, and he accidentally put it in the backlog. This should be put in the icebox actually, because it's a new story. It's not estimated or anything. So he's always, I mean, he's the de facto client of this project, so he's free to do whatever he wants in terms of prioritizing stories. But I rather have him put stuff in the icebox when he do a new feature request. It's better for us like this. But okay, so me and Sam had a meeting just a few days ago where we accepted a lot of stories, and another meeting where we prioritized the backlog. So this is these stories are and the bugs that are listed here are the ones that are in focus for us right now, basically. And let's see, we need a landing page, effectively validated. Yes. Okay. So what you could start working on is are two. I see. It depends a little bit how much how much time you want to spend right now, and how much into Rails you are. But you have previous experience with Ruby, right?
Correct. Yeah. Primarily from a scripting perspective, so consuming our API and automating against that.
Okay. Do you know regex and regular expressions?
I know how to Google for them. No, I'm familiar with them, but that's typically what I'll do is find some sort of online test. I'm not completely fluent. I have to kind of look, how does this one go? So.
Okay, because I have an interesting bug here in website one that you could potentially, you know, take on as one of the first tasks, perhaps. And this is the validator for cover images. And so let's see, let's go to GitHub first. And so here in the lib directory under validators, we have an image URL validator class. Okay, so are you seeing my screen correct now? Okay, so basically what happens is that if you want to update the project with an cover image, and don't mind the styling of this this image, because this is not well done, in terms of CSS and everything. But when you edit the project details, you are presented with this form, and here you can add an URL to an image that is hosted on a service that is whitelisted in the class. As you see here, from line 4 to 8, we have an image host whitelist, right? Okay, so for instance, we have postimage.org whitelisted here. This means that any image that is listed, that is hosted on this service, postimage, should be able to, should pass the validation, right? So we can try that. We can go with the postimage, and we can let's see here. How do I log into this? Well, I can upload a picture. We could do something like, yeah, let's take this one. Never mind the Swedish interface. It's Swedish because I'm so if I upload this file now, so this is the link to this file, right? So if I pop it open in a separate tab, we can see, hopefully, yeah, we can see the image here, right? Okay, and we see here that in the URL you see postimage.org, right? Right. And it's whitelisted, so it shouldn't be a problem. But the problem is that if we paste this in now, like this, and I try to save this, it doesn't pass the validation. And the reason for that is because it's hosted on s24.postimage.org. It's a sub domain.
Can you not add a wildcard in the validation?
Probably you can.
Okay.
And that is your task.
Okay.
Well, the thing is that this is just one of the services that is not passing validation. So there are probably of all of these. Like I've also tried the Facebook one, I think, or some others, and they didn't this didn't work out for us at all. Okay. So we have two. This is something that you could start. You can work on, because it's mostly Ruby. It doesn't have so much to do with the Rails framework per se. And it's not a very complicated.
Dan, I just want to make sure I understand the intent behind the whitelisting and the validation. So is it that you explicitly only want them coming from these domains? Is it security concerns? I just want to understand what.
Yes.
How open I can make it.
Yeah, this is a security concern because when we were talking about this feature, we felt that we can't let people upload any picture they want, or actually, since we weren't able to let them upload pictures because we are hosted on Heroku and the file system is read-only on Heroku. What we would need to do is to set up a Amazon Web Services instance for us in order to upload files, and that would cost us money, and we don't want that. So what we said back then is that, okay, so let people just point to a URL, and then they say, but we can't let them point to any URL because that could, you could inject scripts or blah blah blah, Yeah. So so that's the reason we have a whitelist, basically. Of these
so the
services.
reason I ask is the first thought that comes to mind is just if it does accept wildcards, wildcard the domain, wildcard at the end, but I mean, if somebody was really clever and knew what they were, they could probably still get around that just by including that in whatever the link was. So yeah, I didn't know how locked down you wanted it. But.
Yeah, but the thing is that I was never a great fan of this solution at all, and I would love us to have you know, to allow our users to actually upload pictures. And so the problem is so we can approach this in two ways. We could either just go over each and every one of the domains that are you know, listed in this whitelist, and you know, investigate how are they treating their pictures. So if you share something on you know, imagevenue.com, when you actually link to that picture, then after that, is that a subdomain, or are they hosting on AVS, or how does it work? You know, I know that pictures on Facebook, if you have if we just have a quick look on Facebook, we go to picture here. Puff, that's me and my niece actually. And let's copy the URL and the link. Yeah, you see, this link is actually very nice. Well, I don't think this would. Well, this okay. So this link is not properly formatted either, because it's a PHP file. Actually, it's not an image file. You know. So if I would say open this one in a new tab, then you are using all of a sudden the face using FBCDN. You know, blah blah blah. You see this? So this wouldn't pass our validation either. You know. So perhaps we just need to, you know, remove Facebook from that whitelist.
I'm pretty sure.
Thomas?
So I would say that we could you know, spend time investigating these sites and see, you know, whether they are possible to actually have on our whitelist, or we could do something like completely different. And we have, there is a gem for Rails that is called Nifty Attachments, and this gem actually never uploads a file. I've used it on a side project of mine. It never uploads a file to a file system, but rather stores the file in the database.
Interesting.
So in this way, we could actually, you know, bypass the read-only files, you know, system obstacle on Heroku, and still, you know, allow people to do uploads, you know. But in that case, if we go for this solution, then we need to scrap this validator altogether. You know, then we don't need it at all, and then we have to rewrite the whole thing, basically. You know.
You'd probably have to build in some sort of approval process as well. Just, I don't think anybody's going to upload any crazy nasty images or anything, but it's probably smart to have them submit it for approval.
Yeah, that's also a kind of philosophical question of ours, because the site agileventures.org is actually open to everybody. You know, so the only thing you need to do is to log in to the system. You sign up and you log in, and then if you do, you can basically edit any document that is on the site, you know. So I could edit this if I was a malicious user, and I could go and, you know, do whatever with yourself, you know. So we could change, you know, whoever is we don't have any authorization on this site, and this is a conscious choice of ours, because when we started this 2 years ago, we said that, you know, we trust that our members are, you know, responsible people, and they won't do any stupid or crazy thing or destroy our content. But if they do, if somebody would like to do that, I have a versioning system on the important documents, of course. So any, you know, all these documents are saved in the previous state, so I can always revert any changes that somebody does. But during the 2 years that we've had this system up and running, or a year and a half, I think that there is only one single instance of crazy, post made on our site, and this is it. Some user posted a nonsense article, and we actually kept it. We downvoted it, but we kept it just for the sake of it, So this is the only time somebody abused our site, but it's wide open to everybody. So what I'm trying to say is that yes, we could have some problems with uploads, and there could be some issues, but I would say let's trust people not doing crazy stuff, basically.
Okay. I like that. It's easier.
I think so, and I don't think somebody would like to take this site down, because if they want, there are many ways they could do it. So anyway, what I'm trying to say is that if you take on this story, you could choose to either upgrade this whitelist and do it. You most probably are gonna have to write a small validator method for every site, basically, to make them accept the wildcards or any subdomains or any other domains that they are using to host their images. Or what we could do is we could reopen the let's see, cover image, the story that was this, add cover image to project, and change the requirements and potentially use this nifty attachments or any other gem that you would deem interesting. But it depends a little bit on you, Michelle. What you feel is undertaking that you could commit yourself to and handle, basically.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, to me, first knee-jerk reaction is just do it iteratively, like fix the validator, add a method there for the short term, and then maybe revisit this and do this in the longer term.
Perhaps. So let's Michelle. There you go. So I'm gonna assign you to this story.
Okay.
And whenever you feel like start working on it, you just go to this backlog and you press the start button.
Okay.
Then it will be automatically moved over to the current.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So this could be your little baby to start with.
Okay.
Cool.
Absolutely. And Ren, do you see? So I haven't done any pair programming sessions yet. Like, as far as my goal, ultimately, because I am fairly new at Rails, I would like to pair somebody on some Rails elements as well.
Sure.
So what's the easiest way to do that? Just like I've seen the sessions on the calendar, like pairing setup. I think Scrum and pairing setup. Do you just pair people up as they sign in and then they go work from there? Is that how it usually works?
Yeah, they. Well, when people get together in a in a hookup kind of thing, they just talk to each other and they spin off to separate sessions, basically, and are set up to a time that is convenient for them, basically. But you are on the East Coast, right, of the United States?
No, I'm in Colorado, so I'm Mountain Standard Time.
Oh, in Colorado. Oh, in Colorado. I used to live in Colorado.
Oh, really?
In Aspen.
Oh, funny. Yeah. I'm in Denver.
Yeah, but that was ages ago. That was in 92, 93. Wow. So that was before you were born.
Yeah, hardly.
No, but I was there was a lot of Swedish people in Aspen back then. That was before they, all the terrorist things in 9/11 and everything. So it was much easier for us Europeans to spend time in the United States. It's not But I had great fun in Aspen. You know, I just love the skiing, and I love the people over there. And
That's beautiful.
yeah, so it was really. But where about in Colorado are you?
I'm in Denver, actually, not too far from downtown.
Okay, cool.
Capitol Hill area.
I was robbed in Denver once.
Really?
Yeah, I
Full
was.
back?
Yeah, I was returning a rental car in Denver at the airport, and so I had to, you know, work my way back to Glenwood Springs and Aspen, and I missed my Greyhound bus, so I was just hanging out there. I had like 7 hours until the next one or something, and I was, you know, just cruising the streets, and two dudes just came up to me and they wanted to rob me. And I had just like $20 on me in cash, and I had traveler's checks. This is, you know, the 90s, so we didn't, you know, we used traveler's checks back then. And I told them, guys, they wanted to take them, and I said, you can't use them for anything, you know, because they have to be countersigned, you know, and so we had this discussion about whether they should take this or not, and I just read with them, so that, you know, so it was cool. So they just took like $20, but they had guns with them, you know, so I wasn't so cocky. Otherwise, I'm a big guy. I can, you know, I can take care of myself. But
that's a good story.
Somebody, yeah. So, but anyway, I love Denver. Anyway, it was a good experience, though.
Yeah.
So.
I've lived a lot of places, but I always come back here. I love it.
Oh, so you're native Colorado girl?
So I've lived here, California a bit. My family lived in Oxford for like 4 or 5 years. My little sister is a citizen, actually, a UK citizen, just because they were there for so long. But,
oh, cool, cool. Oh, so you've been around.
Yeah.
That's good.
I'm actually going back in like 2 weeks. Just visit.
Oh, really? Okay, cool, cool. So yeah, and we have Raul with us, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hi. How are you guys?
That's fine, thanks. Nice
Good.
to have you here.
Thank
So, another story that perhaps you know, if you guys could coordinate this. This is more of a Rails related, you know, story, Michelle. It's the search functionality for the site, and the story goes that, you know, we, as a user, in order to find relevant information on document, projects, articles, etc., all the models, the major models we have in the project, I would like to access a full-text search engine that can query all of the application's models and display the results on a separate web page. So the idea is that we could have some sort of a search bar here up in the nav bar of the application, you know, and return a page with search results. And well, Sam had an idea that we could use Google for that, because, you know, if you do site agileventure.org and go Ochman, like my last name, then we see just you know, we see results just that mention my name. Well, not really, actually.
Do you need to skip the space after the colon, maybe?
Perhaps I don't. True, you were right. Yeah, the space did it. Yeah, okay, so Sam's idea was that we could incorporate something like this, you know, just to make it easy for us, because he's always afraid that we have to, you know, if we write our own methods and or modules or whatever, we have to maintain that code. So we always strive to have as simple solution as possible, basically. So that's one way to do it, you know. Otherwise, there are, I think I already linked to some
gems.
Yeah, there's that gems called SearchCard, for instance, or some other stuff. So, but basically, you know, I didn't do any lo-fi sketch on this, but, you know, basically just to have a search bar in the nav bar and present a result page. This is pretty simple, but it needs to be tested and you know, done in the, you know, test-driven development way, basically. So yeah, Is this something that you guys could take on and collaborate on?
Okay.
I would absolutely love to work on it. I'm new to the whole test-driven development paradigm, so I don't. How experienced with Rails are you, Raul?
I would say beginner, experienced beginner.
Okay.
I'm still battling a bit with testing, though. Yeah, testing is one of my main issue at the moment. Yeah.
So yeah, it's certainly something that we could figure out. It's just I'm curious if it makes sense for the first couple to just go through with somebody who is more senior, just so we get a quicker ramp to it. Or I don't know. What do you think, Thomas?
I would say that, you know, since I think you guys are a good match to take on a story like this, because you know you have more Ruby experience perhaps than Raul, and Raul knows the framework a little better than you do. But I think you kind of complement each other, you know, in this way. And now everything would be up on your problem-solving skills more than anything else. It's if you sit down with somebody that's really experienced, then there's a risk that that person will, you know, solve everything, and it would be a good learning experience because you could watch him work. But I think personally, it's a better way to tackle a problem if you don't know exactly what you're doing together with somebody that is on the same level, and then you guys, you know, solve the problem. So there will be probably a lot of you know, Stack Overflow or Google or what have you, or pulling me into a session, asking a few questions, or Brian or somebody else.
Well,
and
there's probably quite a few example specs too, yeah.
Yeah.
Not example, but active specs in there.
Absolutely. So what I would say is that I would, you know, just to get you started on this, I would say that the most important thing to start with is to write high-level acceptance tests.
Which is done in Cucumber, right?
Yes, we use Cucumber for that. So I would just create a feature file here someplace called, you know, advanced search feature or search feature or what have you, and start writing some, you know, some user stories for it, basically, some scenarios. When I'm on the home page, I should see a search bar in the nav bar, right? So, and start to work your way to a certain point, you know, where you cannot do acceptance test anymore because you're running into errors that have nothing to do with the presentation layer, basically, right? Okay. So after that, you're going to say, so what method am I going to use? I'm going to use a gem like Search Cop, or am I going to, you know, incorporate something that Google has done, or what have you, and then try to kind of go kind of deep down on the unit layer, so you can, you know, test the models, and, you know, or if you write your own module for it, so you have to test out whether it actually does, you know, so it does what you want it to do, basically, right? Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't bother so much, and I have personally drifted away a little bit from controller specs. I still write them, but you know, the basic CRUD actions that are anyway magically happening in Rails, no matter what you do, you don't have to test that, right? I would say that if you have some special methods in a controller, then yeah, you should write a spec for it. But the model specs are the most important ones you know, when you work with RSpec. But okay. Yeah, but start with acceptance tests in Cucumber. I would say that, and that you know, if you're unsure what to do, what to start with, you know, how should I do this? You know, should I incorporate a custom method or what have you? When you work with acceptance tests, that kind of automatically points you to a right direction, because it's, you know, it's all about the user anyway at the end. Mm-hmm. So it's a good start, I think.
Okay.
Cool. So, Michelle, do you want to try this, or?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, then maybe.
All right. So
we'll then speak and see how we can schedule this during the week, and I don't know.
That sounds good.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to add both of you to this story now, and again, whenever you guys feel ready, you just, you know, hit start on this. Okay,
Okay.
in the pivotal tracker. So
Okay.
Sounds good.
cool, cool. So we have this new guy called Aaron. He's from Costa Rica, I think.
Mhm.
I assigned him to work on some front end stuff. He's not a very well experienced back end developer either, but he has some front end experience. So I thought that this could be a good way for him to get to know the code basically. And
Are you using Bootstrap or any libraries like that for front end?
once again,
Are you using Bootstrap or anything like that on the front end?
yes, we do. We use Bootstrap with a customized SaaS version, I think. Let's see, what do we have here? Yeah, Bootstrap free, and some other stuff, some custom features basically. But yeah, but it's built on Bootstrap. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, yeah, that makes it easy to implement something like at least the UI portion of the
Absolutely.
search bar. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But I'm thinking of rewriting the UI. I mean the colors and the fonts and stuff. But we will always, we'll be using Bootstrap anyway. So even if we just change some of the front end elements, all the Bootstrap syntax will still be valid.
Right.
So yeah. Let's see what we have here. Makes sense. Yeah, exactly. Bootstrap and font awesome and stuff. Yeah, absolutely. So that's what we use. But there's a lot of custom written CSS here as well. And sometimes it conflicts with stuff. So be a little careful. But you notice when you work with, if you feel a need to write custom CSS classes, I would say that you can place them either in main or.
Or we can even create a separate file and import it in applications, right?
Yeah, you could do that. I think we have required tree or something, so it should be requiring.
Yeah, I see it requiring layout, everything on the layout.
Yeah. Let's see here. Oh, I added the Bootstrap. Okay. Yeah, I love to watch the Git blame. You can see stuff. We had this conversation, me and Brian, once. He was complaining about some method that didn't make any sense, and we were all like, "Who did this?" And we Git blame, and it was it was him actually assigned to it. But I know that it was a pairing session. Him and I were coding that together. And it was like, oops, that was embarrassing. But yeah. So Git blame is a great function. Yeah. No. So yeah. Okay.
So, for a feature like that, do we need to submit like a lo-fi first, or I don't know? Or we can just.
A lo-fi is always good. So even we should.
So I don't know what that is.
Okay, a lo-fi is basically a sketch.
Sketch of
just of the feature of the user interface, basically. Let's see if I can find something.
So just like a wireframe or something.
A wireframe,
yeah. But very simple. You can basically take a pen and a paper and just write. Make a drawing and take a snapshot of it and attach it to the pivotal tracker. It doesn't have to be in any way fancy. We don't want to spend too much time on that. I think we have a lo-fi sketch here. I think there was one on the. Yeah, I had it on the public dashboard, and this one was made in. I took a snapshot of the application and imported it into Google Draw or something, and we just added some elements by hand and then and exported it as a PNG or something. So it never has to. It doesn't have to be a fancy sketch. It only has to.
No.
I can still hear you. I think we lost him.
So what is that? This is the second one. I think.
I can hear you now, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's very, very basic, and we ended up with something like this. You didn't, yeah. So this is what we ended up with at the end. So it still needs some love, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway.
Cool.
Okay. So what are you guys, Raul? Do you work during the day, and how are you available?
So I work during the day. I'm usually available from the evening, around 7 UTC, I think. Yeah, it's for about an hour or two. Yeah. And it's
Okay,
paid
and
time.
and 7 UTC is around noonish your time, Michelle, I think.
I believe so, yeah. Which
And
will be fine.
how's
So
that?
this whole next week, I'm covering for one of our APAC guys, because I do interface with customers as well. So I'm working 5 p.m. till midnight my time this next week. Long story short, I'm super flexible the next week, and then after that, the time that you're saying coincides with about when I'd take lunch anyways. And I work from home. My office is in Santa Barbara, so I just work out of my home office.
Okay.
So I'm pretty flexible.
Okay. All right. Then I guess we just need to communicate about that and find a time that suits us both. Right?
Yeah, you're on Slack, correct?
Am I on?
Yes, Raul, he's on Slack. Yeah, that's right.
Let's see if I can find you and shoot you a message.
So, are you set up with the Website One project, Michelle? Have you, cloned everything, set everything up?
Yep. Sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can.
Okay. Yes, I am.
Okay, cool. And are you working on an OS X or a Linux machine?
OS X.
Macintosh, Apple.
Yeah, Apple.
Do you have okay, Mac. Okay, all right, cool. That simplifies some stuff for me anyway, because it's easier to use.
I mean, I also have
I don't do Linux too
virtual machines, so I can be on anything that's helpful.
Yeah.
But I did set the project up on my Mac natively.
Yeah, so I've been working a lot with Linux for the past year, so at least I know how to get my problem sorted most of the time.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm pretty strong with it as well, so I can be of help if you get stuck.
Wonderful.
Talking about that, Thomas, I think you should probably, I don't know if somebody uses the setup script or Vagrant, but that script needs to be updated because, first of all, the installation, there's one step that needs to be added onto the installation of RVM. He's now using public sign key to install RVM, so this current script will fail all the time.
Okay. So that's great to say. Great news. Feel free to update that. Is that script is hosted on the Agile Ventures repository and called setup, right?
Yeah. So I don't know if it's documented. I didn't really look at the documentation that closely initially. I started running that, and it sets up. Can you hear me?
There's one in the website one. Yeah, this one.
Okay.
There's one script in the website one that set up like a Vagrant machine and all that, and it also references this particular script that you're showing me now. Okay. All right. So you're saying if I can update it, then I should just probably make a pull request to that repository then. Thomas?
I can still hear you.
Hello?
I just sent you a note on Slack, by the way.
Yeah, I think I received a notification about it. Cool. Probably having internet problems again.
While we're waiting for him, what do you do for work?
I'm a web developer. I'm mostly working on front end most of the time. We do projects for clients. Yeah. So I started like a year and a half ago, and the stack that we use at work is mostly Sinatra for our back-end stuff, and in the front end it's AngularJS and a couple of other things. Yeah.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, that's what I do in my day job.
So I dropped out because my internet. So there's two of me, but yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry about that. Yeah. So anyway, back to the scripts stuff. Yeah, there is one in the website one repository, and there is another one that I was pointing to, setup script. But see, if you find any errors in that setup script in website one, feel free to make a change locally and submit a pull request with that to the main repo. And I just merge it in, so you don't have to have a pivotal story for that.
For that one. Okay.
No, it's just and you can just mark it as a patch. Just call it a patch, patch in the title of the pull request. Yeah, then it makes my selecting it for code review easier, and I can just merge it in. Yeah.
Okay.
An interesting idea too is maybe to break out the. I wound up actually not using it and just doing the git clone, but when I first ran it, it set up RVM on my environment, and I have RB and B set up, and it was kind of a mess to undo. So it might be interesting to consider breaking that out.
Okay. Well, again, if you find something in the documentation that is not correct, either on the GitHub wiki document or in the documents on website one, just feel free to edit those documents and submit any new information that could be relevant. I set this project up a year and a half ago, and I've been just merging in new changes over time, right? New migrations, new code, etc. So I haven't set that up for a long time. So I don't know. So I'm kind of dependent on new people like you guys coming in, trying to set that project up on your local machine or deploy it to Heroku and see if you run into some issues. And if you do, if you document them, that would be of great help for me, for you, and for future generations.
All right. Cool. Yeah. Have you seen the small test that I refactored? Have you checked it out?
Yeah, I saw that. So anyway, I saw that you refactored that test. I haven't. I was meaning to ask to check with you. Is there anything else in that module, in that code, that could be tested that isn't tested today?
There was only one method in there. That was the only method that wasn't tested. So yeah. And also, I picked it because it was kind of easier, sort of like get myself into the whole process of creating a pull request and all.
Gotcha.
So that was the aim of it. Yeah. But there are other things that need to be tested that we need to write specs for, as described on the pivotal tracker. And I started looking at some of them.
Yeah. So this is something that I think you guys should focus on that search functionality, and Michelle, if you want to work on that validator on your own or in PairProgramming, that's cool. If you guys have if you just feel that, hey, I want to get away from this task or this story for a while, then those refactoring stories are good to just to pick up some RSpec experience and. So whenever you feel like sick and tired of search functionality, you want to have a break from that, just move over to something else if you have the time and the energy. So it's always good to have stories like that in the on the side to fall back on, basically. But and also be sure not to mix those branches with each other. So if you have a feature branch for search functionality, then switch to another branch you work on a separate story, or so keep those feature branches clean only, and stay in scope. That's very important. Many reasons. I can talk a long time about that, but it's a good habit to only to have one branch for each story that you work on.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Cool.
Good. All right. Let's call it a day now. I'm going to bed. You guys can pair program or whatever. But okay, great talking to you guys, and just reach out to me over Slack if you need some help or assistance, and let me know when you pair program, and let everybody know. So post those pair programming notes, you know, in the general channel and or in website one channel, etc. So you know other people can jump in, and I'd love to jump in and do some pair programming with you guys whenever you are planning any sessions. Okay.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Cool.
Cool. All right.
Wonderful.
Well, thank you very much, and good luck tomorrow.
Ciao.
Live long and prosper. Thank you very much. Yes. All right.
Okay.
Cheers.